How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. The Mavs, they proved me wrong. They made me eat crow. Um, I thought that the season was going to be over on Wednesday night. I did not think they were going to beat the Kings. Um, I underestimated the amount of pride and grit that team was going to play with. Now, at the beginning of that game against the Kings, I thought, I was going to be right because Anthony Davis, he was abysmal to start the game. He ended up having a pretty decent game overall. But when the dust settled, the Mavs won in Sacramento 120 to 106. Um, I'll just kind of go down the stat line here. I just wanted to come on here and briefly recap what happened in this first playing game before they take on Memphis tonight, and then I'll preview that one a little bit too. But Anthony Davis, after having a poor start to the game and settling for some mid-range jumpers that he should never settle for, uh, he ended up in 35 minutes. He shot 9 of 23 from the field, 3 of 6 from three, a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line, and he had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Also had 1 assist. So Anthony Davis, he ended up having a great game, and he remains undefeated in play-in tournament play. So shout out to Anthony Davis. Sacramento Kings season ends. Obviously, it didn't end the way they thought it would, but it was a disappointment overall for them this entire season. They had higher expectations, um, you know, based on their moves to get Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. But I mean, look, what did you expect was going to happen when you basically recreated the core of that Bulls team from a few years ago that didn't really go anywhere? So the Kings, they fired Mike Brown earlier this season. They turned right back around, and after they got eliminated by the Mavs, they fired their general manager. So it makes you wonder, like, if the Mavs had lost, would would they have done the same thing? But we won't get into that. But Anthony Davis ended up having a great game. PJ Washington had 17 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 of 15 overall shooting. He was a plus 28 in his 37 minutes. Major impact. PJ is definitely in playoff mode. You can tell he's healthy. He's not dealing with that knee sprain anymore. It was good to see PJ have the kind of effect on the game that he did on Wednesday. Najee Marshall had 9 points. Derek Lively had 5 points, 4 assists, only 1 rebound for D Live in 18 minutes, surprisingly. He did have 2 steals on a block. And then Klay Thompson, the last starter, 23 points in 33 minutes, 8 of 11 shooting, 5 of 7 from three, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. And he also had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block, and was a plus 31. His number, plus 31 in 33 minutes. So I felt amazing for Klay because all-time greats typically, when they have a bad performance of some kind, in a playoff setting like he did last year, a play-in setting, when they don't perform at their best, typically they make up for it at one point or another. And that's what happened with Klay Thompson. Last year, he found himself in a play-in game in Sacramento, do or die with the Warriors. He went 0 for 11. He was roasted for it for an entire year. And then he finally got back to that point again in a play-in game, elimination game in Sacramento, and he completely flipped the script. Instead of 0 for 11, he went 8 for 11. And he was great on both ends. He was great on offense and defense. And the steals and the blocks category, all that stuff doesn't take into full account just how good he was defensively overall in that game against the Kings. Um, Man, he was finishing layups, like coast to coast layups that you wouldn't typically see Klay do. It was a really special performance for Klay, and I can't help but feel good for him. A couple of key performances off the bench. Daniel Gafford, he had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks in just 21 minutes, was a plus 11 on the night. And then Brandon Williams. The key to the Mavs, look, if the Mavs are going to make the playoffs, if they're going to beat Memphis tonight, Friday night, and play OKC in the first round and have any sort of chance in the world of upsetting OKC, Brandon Williams is probably going to be the biggest difference maker. And I know that might sound crazy to some people because, Anthony Davis and PJ Washington and, Klay Thompson, those caliber of guys in the starting lineup are, the players they are, and their reputations are so much more than what Brandon Williams is right now. But it's the truth. I mean, Brandon Williams is the key to how far the Mavs can go the rest of this season because Kyrie Irving is out. That hurts a lot, but you can tell that this guy has modeled his game after Kyrie. And I think he's actually said that he studied Kyrie and purposely, you know, made his game look like Kyrie. He's modeled himself after him. So you can definitely see it with how he plays. He has a really tight handle. He's great at finishing. He can get by guys. His trickery is really, really nice. There was one play in that Sacramento Kings game where he faked like he was going to go out to the 3-point line to receive a pass, and DeMar DeRozan bid on it. He cut back inside, got the ball. DeMar DeRozan recovered, and before he went for a block attempt, Brandon Williams faked like he was going to pass the ball out, which got Zach LaVine under the basket to have his eyes looking at the top of the key. And then when DeRozan came back over for the, recovery block attempt, there was another fake that had DeRozan flying by him, and he got an easy lay in off the backboard. It was something special to watch for B. Will. So I'm very happy that he is on a standard two-way contract now. 17 points for him in just 18 minutes. 5 of 8 overall shooting. 3 of 4 from three. Perfect on the free throw line. 4 of 4. Also had 5 assists, and he was a plus 24 in those 18 minutes. So a major, major difference-making performance from B. Will off the bench with the Mavs season on the line in Sacramento. And shout out to this team for knocking down their free throws, locking in and hitting the free throws, because how many games were there down the stretch of this season where the Mavs ended up losing? And, there's always several reasons a team loses a game, but you could look at the free throws and it's like, okay, that definitely had a major impact on the Mavs losing this game because they missed so many free throws. They locked in Sacramento. As a team, they shot 24 of 26, so 92.3% on the night. Shot 50% from three, 14 of 28. That always helps if you're shooting that high of a percentage from three, and they shot nearly 50% from the field overall too. So really good stuff. I they shocked me. I thought the season was over. The vibes going into the play-in weren't the best. A day before the play-in happened, Nico Harrison had this really weird closed-door meeting with select media, like ESPN, The Athletic, some local news stations, stuff like that. And I don't even know why he called this press conference. Somebody, I think it was Sham Sharania that reported that Patrick Dumont mandated that Nico do this closed door press conference. I don't know why, because it didn't accomplish anything. All he did was rehash everything that he's already said. He doubled down, he tripled down. He he said defense wins championships like 20 times. And he there was no reason for that. But anyway, so that opened up some wounds again and threw salt in the wounds, and the fan base was not in good spirits. on Tuesday and then Wednesday heading into that play-in game. So um, they proved me wrong. I mean, they went in there, they got the win. I know it's just a play-in game, but um, for one game, it felt like things weren't as bad. It felt like there was some joy. You enjoyed watching this team play winning basketball and play for each other and play up to their potential even without Kyrie Irving. So I enjoyed it. I'm eager to see what happens when they take on the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis tonight. Um, we'll see. We'll see, man. They have the Grizzlies are currently 6.5-point favorites. Ja Morant is a game time decision. He had a nasty ankle sprain in the Grizzlies' loss to the Warriors on Wednesday in their first play-in game. He fell on somebody's foot. He, I don't know what I forget exactly what play it was, but anyway, Morant, he came down on a Warrior player's foot and he sprained that ankle. And he stayed in the game, but he wasn't nearly as effective as he was before that ankle sprain. And then reports said that he didn't practice on Thursday because the swelling was so bad in that ankle. So now he's questionable. They said he will be a game time decision for the Grizzlies. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't think there's any. It's hard for me to imagine Ja Morant not playing in this game. Um, I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like he'll give it a go no matter what. But then there's another part of me that's like, well, if Memphis somehow ends up losing this game and finds themselves in the lottery, they get to keep their first round pick this year. If they win and make the playoffs, they don't keep their first round pick. So, you know, if they're already hobbled, you know, Brandon Clark is who it is for them that's out for the season. If you're already hobbled, if you don't think you really have that much of a chance to beat OKC in the first round, and you're going to lose your first round pick if you make the playoffs, I don't know. Part of me wonders if they might play it safe with Ja Morant and just keep him out and end up getting that pick. But I don't know. I feel like that would be frowned upon by the league if they just threw a playing game like that. But we'll see. Regardless, I think the Mavs are going to benefit from Ja Morant being hobbled either way. If he doesn't play, they'll benefit from it. If he does play, I don't think he'll be as effective as what we saw before the injury in that game he played against the Warriors. But as of right now, Memphis 6.5-point favorites. Mavs will have their backs up against the wall yet again, and we'll see if we can get some more fights, some more grit from Anthony Davis, P.J. Washington, Klay Thompson, Brandon Williams. All the guys that have fought through all the adversity this season, all the negative stuff. Uh, you know, the fans chanting "Fire Nico" during their free throws at home games, which the fans have a right to do it, but obviously you have to understand why it's frustrating for the players, and I get that. And people were mad that PJ Washington said something um, about the fans doing that, but I mean I get it. It's something that you know they just it's something that was going to happen no matter what, and it sucks that the players had to endure all of it because one man decided to uproot the centerpiece of a finals run last season. But we'll see how it goes. The Mavs in the final game of the regular season, they ended up losing by 30 plus points in Memphis. Anthony Davis, PJ Washington didn't play. Several guys didn't play in that game. So there's a little extra motivation too, even though they weren't at full strength. It's like, okay, season on the line. We were just here a few days ago and got beat by 30 plus. Let's go out there and, put a good performance together, get that 8 seed. And then, man, I told y'all if the Mavs end up with that 8 seed, I was not optimistic about the play-in stuff, but if they get to that 8 seed, Mr. Irrational Confidence is officially back because they are going to give OKC problems. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. You can point to the records. You can point to, Shea being the MVP and the depth they have. And you can say, oh, well, Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet didn't play uh, in those games where the Mavs won without Luka. You can say Kyrie's not there. I don't care. The Mavs size is going to give OKC problems in the playoffs. This is, the Mavs have OKC's number. And I think they know that. And I think out of all the play-in teams, I think OKC fans are probably looking at those teams and they're like, we don't want Dallas. Because finally everybody except Kyrie and Omax, who are out for the season, finally everybody else is healthy and ready to go. And Brandon Williams has shown that he can elevate his level of play. He's not Kyrie, but he can give you enough from that point guard position to emulate Kyrie in a way that gives you a chance to win. And I think OKC does not want to see Dallas in the first round. Now, what happens past that first round, if the Mavs were to pull off a monumental upset, I don't know. I don't think it goes too much past that. But I'm just saying, certain teams just have certain other teams' numbers, and that's the case with Dallas and OKC. And I will be irrationally confident and excited for that if the Mavs can get there. There's one more big hurdle tonight, though. In Memphis, starts at 8:30 Central Time this evening on ESPN. It'll be great to see. I'll be back on here sometime tomorrow to recap that one as well. But guys, I appreciate you coming in and listening to me ramble as always. I just wanted to, kind of talk over what happened in Sacramento. They surprised me. I don't know how many more times I can say that, but they proved me wrong. The vibes were nice. It was nice to actually enjoy watching the Mavs play again for once. So hopefully they can do that again tonight. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm not going to get my hopes up still because there's something about this play-in that I cannot stand it. I can't stand it. So I just like Wednesday, I kind of have the feeling that the season ends tonight, but we'll see. Anything's possible when you have when you have a couple of all-time greats out there and guys like PJ Washington added into the mix too, who are finally healthy and hitting shots and all that stuff. So we will see, guys. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Happy Good Friday. And hope you have a good Easter weekend. We'll see you next time.